My colleague Jayed-Leigh Paulse is live for us. Jade, what are you witnessing?
A very, very somber moment here at Eskalweni, Blaine and viewers. What you're seeing right now on your screens is the family of Lindani Myeni walking behind his coffin, and his last resting place will be at the Impangeni Cemetery. Family members, both local, South Africans, as well as those abroad, mostly from United States, will be in that procession. As you can see on your screens, Lindani's wife, Lindsay Myeni, alongside his gogo, Beatrice and Hleko, taking him to his final resting place. It's been a very difficult week. His body was brought back last week Saturday, and now the former rugby player and South African is brought home and will be laid to rest in his home province, KwaZulu-Natal. Pallbearers from the funeral parlor walking with the coffin, as well as family members. They will proceed to the gravesite, and that's where we will see Lindani Myeni being laid to rest. I'm told that the pallbearers are Lindani's cousins, as well as his brother. As you can see, Blaine, family members are devastated, very emotional. This has been the case this week. We've seen a lot of heartbreak, a lot of sadness, a lot of shock at the brutal manner in which Lindani Myeni was killed in Hawaii.
Jayed-Leigh, I'm just looking at a statement that was released from the family, saying that as a family, we are delighted to have lived with Lindani, his life and everything he has been to the family has been a blessing. He did not disappoint us as a family, they say. We loved him dearly, and he sincerely loved us too, and his departure hurt us deeply. He is gone, but he will always be in our hearts. Sentiments expressed at the funeral service there at Jayed-Leigh. What more did we learn about Lindani?
Lindani, like we have been told this week, Blaine, he was loved. He was loved by family members, he was loved by his friends, and he was respected. And the sentiments that we've gotten throughout the week at the memorial service, as well as the funeral this morning, is that he was a gentle giant. He was bold and strapping, but he had a heart of gold. He was really a likable human being, a likable person. And his wife, Lindani Myeni, spoke at the podium. She spoke of a man who should be respected. He loved his culture. He was a Zulu man. He was a principled man. But she also took comfort in the fact that now the Zulu nation has adopted her, Lindani Myeni, as well as her children, that the province of KwaZulu-Natal are supporting the family, and that she knows that justice will be prevailed. We're speaking about a former rugby player here in KwaZulu-Natal. We're speaking about a man who was actively involved in Scouts, as you can see on your screens, since tender age. This is where he managed to play for the Eskawini Rugby Club, Empangeni Rugby Club, Ikawe Hero Rugby Club, the Sharks Academy, George Campbell, Jaguars, to name a few, and then on in Denver, Colorado, the Merlins. So he was very respected in the rugby fraternity and also in his community. They spoke also highly of a young rural boy who wanted to bring change to Eskawini. He wanted to unite nations. And I think to somewhat many people back at home are looking at this and saying that his death is painful, it's sad, but because it has trended throughout the world, people are now in the know of what is happening to our black brothers and sisters abroad. And we've seen many politicians coming out strongly, as well as the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sigalala, saying that they will not rest, that they will continue to fight for the truth and the answers on that brutal night that Lindani Myeni was killed.
You know, Jade, something that sticks out.
What you're seeing on your screens now is
Go
the
ahead.
procession leading to the Empangeni Cemetery, and that will be the last resting place of Lindani Myeni. I am told that it will be family members and a few broadcast media houses that will be allowed at that cemetery to capture the last resting place of Lindani Myeni. This is indicative of the fact that he was loved by so many. The Scouts, the Scout Club, also draping his coffin in a green pall, just in honor of him. Before he went to the United States, he was a part of them. And they spoke very fondly of him. But we've also seen other dignitaries in office, such as the MECs, as well as several international friends as well, who come from afar to also show their support to Lindani Myeni and her children. I see that Lindani Myeni. Just the support that we've seen, Blaine. Rasta is also here. I spoke to him earlier on and he said he was in Kwanongoma yesterday. Today he felt the need to come to Eskawini to also pay his respects to Lindani Myeni. He told me that he often does this with the fallen heroes. So he's also here to show solidarity to to the family. Mourners looking on to this musical demonstration from the Scouts club where Lindani Myeni was a part of. On your screens right now, you can also see a banner saying Black Lives Matter. And this group has also been here this morning, standing in solidarity for the family and calling on justice to prevail, calling on the South African government, calling on the United States President Joe Biden to also look into this bizarre killing of Lindani Myeni, saying that he was unarmed at the time that he was gunned down, and calling for answers. But I think one thing that stands out for many who were here at this funeral, for many who have been covering the story, is the unity that has been shown, the support that the family has been shown. Of Lindani Myeni being taken to the Mthandeni gravesite where he will be laid to rest. A convoy of vehicles comprising of his wife, his two very small children. He leaves his wife behind, Lindsay, the two children, Nsizwa and Nandi, his sister, Sitolile, his nephew, his nieces, his grandmother, Beatrice Mhleko, his uncle Tulani, and the entire Myeni family, who have been distraught and in grief since his untimely passing.
Jayed-Leigh, you know, I just remembered what I think it was Pastor Nhleko had to say at the repatriation and prayer service at the O.R. Tambo International Airport, talking directly to the people of America, saying that we are not painted black. We are black. God did not make a mistake when he made us. It talks to that banner that we see by you there, the Black Lives Matter movement, the cause, what it stands for. Did you hear similar sentiments being shared today with regards to that?
That's very true, Blaine. I think that was the sentiment that was shared, is that, you know, we are all the same, we are all equal. Lindsay also spoke about this, saying that Lindani wanted to bring change, and that it's ironic that his funeral, however painful, however devastating it may have been for her and the family, that in some way they find solace and comfort knowing that he did try to bring change, that his funeral, the fact that he died in such a brutal manner, in such an questionable manner, has now raised the awareness on Black Lives Matter. And I think that is indicative of this banner over here, that is indicative of so many people coming out to support the family. I'm going to try and see if I can't speak to some of those individuals who are here and try and gauge from them as to why they are here. Hello, sir. You are live on SABC News. I see that you have a banner, Black Lives Matter. Just talk to us through the support that you are showing for the Myeni family today.
Yes, no, asibonge support esinikezele njenge Youth League yaseMusadladla was to make it very clear, to send a message to the people abenza into yokuthi abantu abasha bebasuppress eSouth Africa, more especially njengoba nje omunye wethu eshonele ngaphandle kwaSouth Africa eAmerica, ukuthi njengabantu abasha into esingayifundile uhulumeni wethu ulwe kanzima before u1995 ukuze sithole le freedom, and we are hoping ukuthi ugovernment from overseas eAmerica ukuthi will be still doing the same ukuze kungabi nabantu abazohlukumeza umphakathi bese kuyathuleka. Yeah.
Butifulanjani, how do you feel about this incident occurring in the United States? What do you want to come from this?
Ngicabanga ukuthi i-state into kumele siyenze is to make sure, because we do have ambassador kwi-America, they must then engage on these matters, because akuyona yokuqala sibona abantu abamnyama belimala belinyazwa abantu abaqashwe ugovernment from overseas. Thina njenge-South Africa siyakholelwa ekuthenini yonke into iyaxoxa, kodwa mangabe uhulumeni engangeneleli kuyona akuyona into esizovumelana nayo ke-South Africa, and we are hoping that our government will make sure ukuthi abantu abenze lento yangenelela phesheya ukuze bakwazi namaphoyisa lawo alimaze uLindani ukuthi angenelele umthetho uthatha indawo yawo. Yeah, sithi umndeni nje awududuzeke sinawo, that is why sikhombisile ukuthi sizofika la kulo mhlangano lo wokufihlwa kwakhe uLindani ekugcineni. Senze sure ukuthi siba khona ngenxa ukuthi njengabantu abasha sikwazi ukuthula eSouth Africa mangabe kwenzeka izinto ezikanje zenze kwamanye amazwe, because nathi South Africa sivumelana nokuhlukunyezwa kwabantu abaphila eSouth Africa from other countries. Yes.
And I think that's the sentiments that many people share, Blaine, is that as South Africans we simply cannot sit around and wait for nothing to happen, for Lindani Myeni's memory to be forgotten, and calling on the ambassadors of the country to also liaise with the United States to try and find common ground, to try and see what can be done with this, to probe this incident, and saying there that we cannot have our brothers being slain and slaughtered in other parts of the country. We are a leading country. I'm just going to try and see if I can't speak to more people. Rasta, you also in our midst. Just take us through, why are you here today? We saw you in KwaNongoma yesterday. Why are you here today?
Yeah, as I always pay tribute to the fallen heroes and legends, condolences to the Myeni family. I was at Nongoma like yesterday, painting the late Queen, so I saw it fitting also to pass by in Richards Bay and paint my fellow brother Lindani. Yes.
Thank you you so much for sharing your views there, Rasta. And he's painted Lindani Myeni. Lindsay Myeni walked past the painting earlier on and she smiled at Rust, and I think that she approves Blaine. But this is the sentiments on the ground that more needs to be done, that investigation needs to really be sought through, that the family is very frustrated at what has occurred. They're hoping that the United States government, the United States and South African government will work to try and find out what exactly took place. Just speaking to Lindsay at the memorial service on Thursday, she was also talking about her, her safety, and telling me that she's actually contemplating on also getting citizenship in South Africa, to raising her 2 children here, saying that it simply cannot be that black men, black women are killed, and that she also feels unsafe, and saying that, she, as much as she is hurt by this and as much as she is pained by what has happened to her husband, she's also finding comfort knowing that South Africa is going to become her home, Blaine.
Jayed-Leigh Paulse, as well as Nati Mzimela, live for us in KwaZulu-Natal. We thank you very much indeed.